discipline that you enforce on yourself.
Right, I know, which is why
And
when I start these things, I try and care that I finish them, and but then there's other.
No is probably the thing that has been but I notice it less at the moment. I think you're more relaxed inside. You're not digging in as hard, but you are putting all these things that are dancing in front of you that you need to do, but you don't have time to do them all, so you don't do any of them. That's not, or finish any of them. That's half of that's fear.
Yeah, and then one of the ways of getting over it is just saying, you take the pressure off yourself and you say, never mind, I don't have to do these things. I don't care if I get them done or not. But that, in the long run, I don't know if that's a better approach, because it's me going, okay, well, I can be calmer about not getting something done one week if I say, instead of wanting to get it done this week, I'll be okay if I get it done in a year. Well, that sure takes the pressure off, but that thing
doesn't get the
anymore.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, it isn't going to happen now. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, look at all the people waiting to be directors. Look at your own brother. He's going to be a director. One day that boy is going to be a director.
This is good watermelon.
What'd you say?
It's good watermelon.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And she's going to bring some more. He will, but I mean, I'll say in his favor that he has the discipline to see that what he's doing is making connections, and that sometime he'll have enough money to maybe make something, and he's going at it. I admire him for it.
Right.
But I really thought he was going to be disappointed with himself. I mean, he's doing a sort of a craft rather isn't he? I don't understand exactly what he does, but it is a sort of a craft. That isn't what he really wants to do. What he wants to do is sit in a chair that says director on the back of it.
Sure, and there's a guy I lived next to when I was abroad, and one summer he took a month and with people that he knew from film school and hired hands and volunteers, and he made a movie, and it was great.
Really?
And it was recognized as great and sort of and beautiful.
Amazing. Where'd he get the money?
You can raise it online with these sort of crowdsourcing things. You put your idea out there and you say, we need this much money, and people go, that's a cool idea, I support this. And your friends and then strangers, and he I don't know how much he raised, but it was not that much. I think he asked for like $5,000.
Really? He couldn't buy the camera.
No, he had a lot of equipment. You get a lot of stuff for free, and you get a lot of others. You have a lot of things, and you get people to do things for free or for cheap, and then whatever else you need, you have people support that.
Must have been
a great idea. And you just go and do that. You just go and do it, and it went to festivals all over the world, and is like getting distributed this month. For the first time.
Great. That's marvelous. And so is that inspirational to you?
In a way, yeah. But it's also when you know that you want to do film and you want to do it that way, and that's the idea, and you go, I'm putting everything on the line to do this.
How long have you wanted to do film?
It's different sides of it is the thing. Like I'm so interested in being a part of so many different kinds of creative things. Like I could imagine myself if I made a living and I could interact in some of the ways that I wanted. I'd be happy. I'd be delighted. Obviously, being a painter.
That's why.
I never painted, but if I painted and then I could go like travel around and paint things and interpret things that way and share that way, like that would be incredible. It doesn't matter what the medium is, really.
Well, so bringing this back to a painful subject, this is why some of the people around you, and I include myself, consider that a an alternative to a complete commitment to a life like that is getting a skill that you can earn a living at, and then in time, and that will be reasonable time because you're very young now, you'll be able to earn the money and do this. What you're saying.
And you're right, and that's the way that everything works, and it has to, for almost everyone. And
that's right.
There's this sad moment where you commit to that, where you say, okay, I'm going to do another thing, and I'm going to make all my primary love secondary, and I'm going to wait until I get out of work, and then I'll go and do
No, but
hobbies.
you could, there are 24 hours in a day, and you waste several hours of those days some way. You can gather those wasted minutes and do your creative work. I know millions of creative people, hundreds of creative people, after years living around artists. First of all, when we were very young, all our friends were artists, and all of them were doing it on.
It's not even about art, actually. I think for me, it's like just knowing the creative process is the only thing where
using art.
You make a thing that is just for that thing. Like, it's not indirect. But whatever you've done is completely.
That's what
self-contained.
You're doing. But still, it has to be financed. And I know
you can take a picture, and a picture exists,
right. But still, at some point you're going to have money that will help you do that for a short number of years, let's say,
on that note,
but you're not. You couldn't. You couldn't just do that and then say, well, I'm running out of money and now I haven't got anything I can live on.
Then you're stuck.
So that's why it's being suggested that any money that might come to you at that point is, and other people may wish to help, you use that to get yourself a way to earn more money that will keep you on some level of existence that you're satisfied with. That's what, to cite ourselves, I mean, we were always content with whatever it was. It happens that Herbert fell into making a little more money than we expected. He really didn't expect to have that.
He had no expectation. There was no hope but he didn't have the hope that he would, say, do as well as he did, and I think that's one of the things.
We think he did well, but you see, he felt he hadn't done enough.
I know.
To see, even though doing what we think was good work. Look at this. A couple of years ago, the New York Times in their magazine section uses one of his cartoons as a cover of the magazine section. It was the Peter Arno thing of the girls dancing, the girls, Miss America, Miss Brazil, Miss everything, and the guys. I can show it to you. And it was the anniversary of the, I don't know, the New Yorker or something, and they used that as the cover for the magazine section. Oh, and these fat businessmen are looking, and the cartoon is such a good drawing, and Peter Arno, and they're looking at these girls, with their boobs and their legs out and everything like that, and he's saying, that's the sort of thing doesn't that make you proud to be an American? And the New Yorker, and do you know I wrote a letter to the Times?
No.
Because I said, we celebrate Arno, for this, but the guy who thought up the idea might deserve a credit. And they wrote it, and I said, and he would consider that his best memorial.
What did they say? Did anyone
They didn't. They just printed it. I was happy that they
Oh, they
printed it
the thing?
in the
Did you say
letters to
what
the
name?
editor.
Did you say what the name of
Yeah,
the...
sure, his name, right?
No
sure,
kidding.
I did.
But he said in his letters to you from the war, I saw, he said, I'm
not
doing
always going to be writing
said-
gags, right?
I have this. He said,
But he opened a business, for God's sakes. He wasn't just sitting and lying on his back, as he did, to write gags. I'm not always going to be writing. And he wasn't. He was out making money in big companies that advertised using cartoonists, thinking up ads for them. Do you know?
yeah. But he says, I don't especially want the fame that comes with success, power that comes with position, nor the complete luxury that comes with wealth. There's something else I crave at the end of that.
He doesn't know what it
He
is.
doesn't. I'll probably know it at some later date. Have no idea now. He's sitting at his typewriter somewhere in Europe, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. It's it's not fame for fame. It's fame for what
that I've accomplished.
What does that let you? Well, maybe that, but I think more than that, it's that if you're in a position where you've succeeded in some field, then it's more easy for you to get to that creative side, to get to the real meat of what you want to be doing without jumping through as many hurdles, because people let you do that. That's all. I think you just get to spend a higher percentage of your time.
But until you spend some of that time developing what it is that you want
Of
to
course,
do.
of course. But for most people, it never works out ever where they get to the place where that percentage is increasing and increasing.
I want her to come home so we can have some lunch.
Well, this is the other thing that I wanted to read of his.
Maybe she is home. Do you think she's home?
This is the thing that I was going to read of Grandpa's that I didn't get to. This whole when we were talking about depending on people. This is just the one thing of Grandpa's I wanted to read. I just think for us it's this massive paradox where we want to be in that mutual yin-yang situation where each side has a little piece of themselves totally inside the other. You know what a yin-yang looks like? You know like the circle, and it's got the black on one side and the white on the other.
Yeah.
And there's a white circle on the black side and a black circle on the white side.
Right.
There's like a little piece of yourself that's fully in that other person that you've put a bit of you into them, for safe keeping. And that makes you, I think, always feel like you're seeking them, that you want them close, that you want them around, because that's you that you've put over there.
True.
And that we want that feeling, but we're also told and warned, and then go through experiences where we go, damn, like that shit is dangerous. As soon as you say, I don't think I could exist without this person, and I love feeling that way, you are playing with fire.
Yeah.
And this is this letter
Well,
from.
we'll get back to that.
This is this letter from Grandpa that I've found.
Feel though, have a wonderful start.
Yeah, and then right after that he says, loving you so terribly much that everything else seems secondary. This is September 12th, 1944 is what it says.
And this is 3.5 years into our marriage.
Yeah, though there's so much of that time apart, and you knowing each other for 3 years in the 40s. Now I think the amount of time that people spend together, they're living with each other, so much of that happens so much faster, and still you're at this completely in it. He's completely in it, loving you so terribly much that everything else seems secondary. I want it always that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it was pretty much, don't you think?
Yeah, it was, and that's what makes it amazing, is that it's accepted as the primary thing. And I think now we have such we have such a problem with saying, you know what, I'd kind of want this love to be the primary thing. I want that to be the most
But
important.
you don't have to really work at that, except not to spoil it.
But you can easily spoil it by not trust, by saying, no, this shouldn't be the primary thing. Like, I'd rather that this was secondary. And then, you're shit out of luck.
So that's the life you want to lead, where love. So I mean, maybe you're not really devoted to one another or enough.
Or you just, at some point, there's fear.
There's fear you may really prefer
doubt.
somebody else.
No, there's just fear that maybe if you fear that you're too vulnerable in their hands, then that makes you pull back. And then the whole thing falls apart. It's like those cards that are balanced. You move one, and then
is
this
that
is
what's happened to you? Is that what would you be describing? What you think happened to you? You put too much into that, and then it fell apart, and then.
In a way, yeah. There's a lot more to it, But I think that.
I want to go and see whether she's here, and I'll have her make us a couple of ham sandwiches, which we can chew while we're here.
Okay.
All right. Would you want to drink juice, or I don't?
Sure.
I didn't tell her to get anything.
You want to puff of anything?
What?
You want to puff of anything?
Well, not while I'm eating. Maybe after, as an after puff drink.
Yes, ma'am.
But you suit yourself. If I hope I haven't led you down the garden path with this herb, because I don't want you. Then you get out of control. You'd be out of control of yourself, and you don't want to be that.
No, but I want us to have some times of having smoked and being on tape.
Do you really do you have a good feeling?
Often, yeah, but I think that it also makes us talk in different ways, and I'm interested in capturing that as well.
I'll participate in that.
But we have much more to talk about.
All right.
Talk about it.
I'm not giving up on that, and I'm giving up on. You say you're leaving this evening, and then we